Everyone wants to make their life easier. Stay tuned. We've got tips to help you do just that.
This episode of the Dollar Saving Divas podcast is brought to you by renttherunway.com.
You'll find more than 200,000 pieces and 400 designers in the Rent the Runway closet. For any event you might be attending, formal, cocktail, or festive, you can get 4 or 8 day designer rentals for a fraction of the price. Anything you want, one flat price.
And when you click the link on our Dollar Saving Divas Facebook page, you'll save even more and help keep this podcast free.
Look great and save money too at renttherunway.com. Well, Kelly, everyone wants to save time and add convenience to their daily routine. We've got a few tips to help you do that today.
Good.
First, how's your Wi-Fi? Is it big enough?
I don't think... Is your bandwidth? Is that what they call it?
I have stumped Kelly. She's speechless.
I'm like, remember, I'm not technical tips. I can't even pronounce technology.
Is your house bigger than your network?
Okay, I think what we're trying to see is neither one of us know anything about Wi-Fi other than the fact that we can't live without it because
I need it, and when it's slow, I'm angry. That's all I know.
And all I know on my phone, I check that little thing to make sure that little thing that lights up that says Wi-Fi is working.
It's working,
But
right.
when it doesn't, I'm really pissed off. I mean angry.
Yes.
Okay.
So if you have a larger house, you might have the issue where, if somebody's in the basement or somebody's in the upstairs bedroom, the Wi-Fi just doesn't reach that far. So there are these new routers that employ mesh networking. I don't know what that means. I read that.
I actually do know what that is, believe it or not. Well, I think I know what it means because down in Florida,
Go on.
our whole condo complex is every condo has a router. Okay, you know what the router is?
I'm
the
with
little
you.
router box.
I gotcha.
Okay, but then we're also, so everybody has their own Wi-Fi. But then as a complex, we also have another one that goes like when I'm at the pool, it actually says pool Wi-Fi.
Oh, my goodness.
So I can get all my emails sitting by the pool and not be using my own personal one, but use the one that's the complex.
Well, for those of us who aren't sitting by the pool and just want to go to the basement and get Wi-Fi.
Well, that's your problem.
You can. For the rest of us.
Okay.
You can get the new routers that are using this mesh networking, and you can expect to spend probably $300 to $500 on these because they're multiple routers. So you have multiple routers around the house, and they bump up your Wi-Fi signal, but it doesn't decrease the bandwidth. So,
well, you
like
sound
Google,
like you know what you're talking
I do,
about,
right? As long as it sounds like I know what I'm saying.
Okay, now speaking of Google, nice segue so we can get off of this Wi-Fi stuff, is, okay, virtual assistant. Do you know what a virtual assistant is?
I do.
Oh, well, I'm impressed. It's that voice-activated thing. You know that commercial that Alec Baldwin does all the time, and they set sprinklers on to chase the boyfriend away.
I love that, yeah.
Well, that's actually what these are. Google has one, Google Home for $130. Echo has one for $180. Amazon, yeah. And they say, you can use them to look up movie times. You can listen to music, news headlines, check the weather, even turns on and off lights in certain cases, believe it or not, just by speaking. But I think this is the best use of it that I have seen so far. Is our friends have a brand new baby. They just have it. And the mom just talks into it. She goes, lullaby music. And then she'll go, it's hilarious. It's really good. So I know a little bit about that.
Fun.
Yeah, they are. And they're not expensive.
I like for them to tell me a joke.
Okay. Well, of course you would. Because, no, I'm not even
going
to
entertain me.
Okay. All right. Speaking of entertainment, let's do some laundry.
Do some laundry. Well, if your laundry room is still down in the basement, if you still have your washer and dryer down there, you might want to consider bringing it up to the main living level. It's so much more convenient if you can run between the kitchen and the laundry room, and you're not running up and down steps with a basket full of laundry. It's going to cost you a little bit of money. However, in addition to making your life more convenient, the investment's going to pay off when you sell your house. The National Association of Home Builders said a dedicated laundry room was number one on the list of most desired home features. So that will pay off in the long run.
I think that's a great idea. And some people have said they've even taken out a wall in their house, like where a pantry's been, and actually make it a laundry room that's got places where they can fold it and do all that. We happen to have one. We kind of call it our mudroom laundry room, so it goes through from our garage.
That's the way ours is set up, too.
Which is nice because then you can throw all those dirty stuff in there just on your way in from the the garage.
I
Just
know, it's
strip down and
perfect.
do some laundry.
One thing to consider, though, if you're buying a new washer and dryer, check the ratings for the noise level, because once you bring that up on the main floor, you're going to hear it. So be aware that you want to be able to shut the door, or you want to get one of those high-efficiency, quieter models.
Well, and a lot of people these days are doing the what are they? The stackable ones too, which
Yeah.
save a lot of room too.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay, how about banishing dust bunnies?
I've not figured out the key to that,
Well, and I know you have.
because I have pets.
You have pets. I only have a daughter. That's my favorite pet. Actually, she leaves food and stuff all over the floor too. So it's kind of like
Well,
having
you
a
need
pet.
a pet because they eat the food on the floor. It's a beautiful system, symbiotic.
Okay, so you don't need the robotic vacuum.
No, I have one.
My sister-in-law has the robotic vacuum, and she says it's awesome. But you still need to have a regular vacuum tube for that, heavy cleaning of the carpets and things like that. But there's some that are very expensive. Like there's a Samsung PowerBot. And it's like $1,000, but you can get some of these for half price. I think they're a really interesting thing, and they actually say that, they suck up embedded pet hair and sand from carpets, and that's what I know you need. Except we don't have a lot of sand around here.
I don't have a lot of sand, but I definitely have the pet hair.
Okay, another thing you can do is choose low maintenance materials. Okay, there was a test engineer with what is it called? Consumer Reports, and he said he has 4 kids, and how the countertops take a real beating, which I can understand that, particularly if you have. I mean, I don't know. Is he pounding his kids on top of the countertops?
I don't know what's happening there.
But he said that they actually did some tests. Okay, I thought this was kind of interesting. The test included smearing the surface with food coloring and grape juice, and then dropping weights on them. Okay, I don't know how
that would happen.
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't either, but obviously it does. And they determined that quartz countertops come through these tests better than natural stones like granite and marble. And of course, I have granite, and you have to seal granite.
You do,
but with
yes.
quartz, you don't even have to seal them. So that actually, I think is pretty smart. So I'm going to have to make my husband replace all my granite.
You need
with
the quartz. The quartz is really pretty. We thought about that. We went with granite, but I've chipped it. I mean, I have chipped my granite countertops around the sink. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. I'm not dropping weights on it, but
We're children.
for children. Well, if you are still mowing your grass, if you have a large lawn, short of blacktopping everything, there are other things you can do. You can do a lot of
Gravel,
blacktop. But if you consider taking a section of it and planting ornamental grass or putting in a patio, cut down on that large golf course size lawn and put in some ornamental grasses. You don't have to mow as much. It's low maintenance.
I don't do any mowing because, as we know, I have really bad allergies, as does my daughter. So we both have gotten off the hook on doing that. You know, my husband has to go out there and he sometimes puts that.
Why didn't I think of that?
Well, yeah, but you live in a condo. You don't even have to
I
mow
watch
your
somebody
yard.
else mow it.
Yeah, okay. Well, when we're talking about the grass is you don't want to cut your lawn too short because the roots of the grass will become weak and shallow. So what you want to do is you want to let and of course my husband hears this, he'll say, oh, I don't have to mow for another month. So what you do is you let
Be
your
out there
grass.
with this little ruler.
Exactly.
Nope,
I'll
not
be
yet.
out there. It's time
Another day.
to mow. So you let it grow to about 4.5 inches before you mowing it. Then you mow it down to 3 inches. So another thing is, I think that's pretty smart. But another thing is you want to learn to live with some weeds. Now, I don't like weeds, but apparently clover, for example, takes nitrogen from the air and feeds it into the soil. So actually a little clover in your yard is good for the lawn.
That's lovely. Well, you can always plant a garden, which it saves on the amount of room that you have to mow, but it's also very therapeutic. So gardening is a stress reliever.
Okay.
You can pull weeds, you can go out and
No, I don't. I
for
do.
some of us.
No, mine is called low or no maintenance. I buy pots and put them around.
Okay. Well,
Hanging baskets and pots, and then I'm done. It takes me about 2.5 hours on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm done for the summer.
well, perhaps this is not for the Wi-Fi by the pool crowd, but for others. Gardening is a therapeutic, healthy thing. Plus, it attracts, you can plant flowers, it attracts birds, it attracts wildlife. You have healthy fruits and vegetables.
The green thumb stops with my mother. My mother does
That was
all
it.
that.
It skips a generation.
It totally skips a generation. And we know my daughter, So maybe Alexis will be doing some of that at some
she
point
can do
in
it in
time.
your yard. That'd be great.
That's not going to happen. This episode of the Dollar Saving Divas podcast is brought to you by renttherunway.com.
You'll find more than 200,000 pieces and 400 designers in the Rent the Runway closet. For any event you might be attending, formal, cocktail, or festive, you can get 4 or 8 day designer rentals for a fraction of the price. Anything you want, one flat price.
And when you click the link on our Dollar Saving Divas Facebook page, you'll save even more and help keep this podcast free.
Look great and save money too at renttherunway.com. Thanks for listening to the Dollar Saving Divas. If you have ideas for an upcoming episode, we'd love to hear from you. Just head to our Facebook page at facebook.com/DollarSavingDivasCBus and share your comments. Our podcast is available on iTunes, iHeartMedia, or your favorite podcast player. Thanks again for listening.
This is Ashley.
And this is Trevor.
And this is Trevor from Elite One Fitness.
And this is Brett. In each week's Today's Health and Wellness podcast, we spotlight health and wellness stories you'll find in the Central Ohio Health and Wellness magazine, on Today's Health and web pages and social media, as well as extras you'll only hear in the weekly podcasts.
And each month, Trevor and I bust some gym and health myths to help motivate you to become stronger and healthier.
Oh yeah, you know it. The Today's Health and Wellness podcast is a joint effort of the Central Ohio Health and Wellness magazine and Today's Health.
Subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, YouTube, or your favorite podcast player.
Circle270media.com.